Hello, good morning. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Louise. I'm a plant hobbyist and I like to grow tropical stroke Mediterranean types of plants, both indoors and outdoors in the UK. Today I'm going to talk about growing sweet cane sorghum in the UK climate, and just tell you a little bit about sorghum. Sorghum bicolour, also known as jowar in places like Bangladesh, and excuse me, it's a grass species, and it is cultivated for both its grain, for both human and animal consumption, which the grain is made into flour. The seeds can be popped like popcorn, and the whole stalk itself can be crushed and turned into molasses, or jaggery as it's known in parts of India and Asia. I've grown two types in the UK successfully. You may have seen in previous video that I've propagated sugarcane. Now that's the tropical sugarcane, the much thicker stem, and if you look back in my video, they are little stumps that I actually grew from the actual cane I propagated. Now this is different. This is grown from seed, and if you see on the internet anybody selling you sugarcane seed, it is most likely they are selling this sorghum, which, you know, it is a sweet cane, but it isn't the same as the tropical sugarcane. There are differences, and I think there's a couple of videos in YouTube. I may put the link in the description below. You could watch that and you'll see the difference between sugarcane and sorghum. And also there's the making process of how you make sugarcane or sorghum cane into molasses. So there's a couple of interesting videos that you might want to check out there. And so let's talk about the ones that I've got here in front of me. Now, sorghum can withstand much cooler temperatures than the tropical sugarcane. The sorghum cane will grow to about this thickness, probably about 1.5 inches, and it will look like a slim or slender bamboo cane, and it will grow quite rapidly, and at the end of the season you will get these seed heads. Now the two varieties that I have here, this is an amber, a mountain sorghum. Let's go close up and you can see the seeds on that. And the variety that I've grown here is this. It's got nice black shiny seeds. This is black amber sorghum, and I got this originally from the United States, from a company who actually make their own molasses. So I knew that it would be a nice sweet cane, and apparently this variety is a early producing, so you know it grows quicker than say this variety. And strangely enough, I just planted both these varieties in this tray here, and this tray, I've used this before for the Bangladeshi Asian vegetables, the banglalao, and you know the bottle gourds, etc. were in here. So repurposed this tray with the compost in it, and actually some of the old Malabar spinach seeds that were left in it have popped up as well. So I've got like 3 of those in here. But this is the variety that I'm growing here, and I did plant this variety there. And I did label it. You can't see the label, but there's a label down there. And the black amber came up, and as you can see, and there's nothing on this side at all. I did have a little dividing, sort of like had this stuck in the middle, so I know that this is the black amber. And I've even rooted around in here, looked at the seeds. The seeds are still in there intact and not germinated. So I think this variety doesn't fare well storing, but this variety definitely, just planted it in and it came up. So that's all I'll be growing. Obviously I'll just be growing the one variety this year, and I'll be tracking their progress. Now just to tell you a little bit more about the usefulness of this type of cane. Now this stuff is cane molasses, and it's made in Egypt, and they do grow this in Egypt. I'll just see if I can open the top with my one hand and get the idea. So nice syrup. I'm not going to pour it on there but it's a very sweet syrup, so maybe similar to something like maple syrup, which is extracted from trees, and this comes from crushing the stalk. So call this molasses. You can get molasses from both sugarcane and sweet sorghum cane, and they basically, countries like America, they're very, very big on growing the sorghum for making sweet molasses, and they crush the stalks. If you don't have a machine to crush it, there's a video of a chap who cuts down the the sorghum cane, with secateurs, and chops them into pieces, say about that big, and boils them in a pan. You keep boiling it and keep boiling it, removing some of the sort of like scummy layer that comes at the top, skims that off, and reduces the juice that's extracted from the stalks of this cane, until finally after a few hours you get this brown sticky syrup. And it must be wonderful to sort of plant something from seed and grow it and get the end product, all in one season. So that's the aim, is really to see if it can be done successfully. And also the seeds, in some countries they will crush these and make them into flour. So sorghum is also known as durra, and millet is another name for it. There are different types of millet, and this is one of them. And this is millet flour you can get in Asian grocers. So as I say, these are grown widely throughout Asia. And this one's from India. This is bajri flour, millet flour, basically. It's very good for people who are gluten intolerant. There's no gluten in it. It doesn't have that elasticity when you make a dough out of it, but it's very, very good. It's especially good for people who've got diabetes and they're trying to cut down on the carbohydrates. So it's got a low glycemic index. So yeah, very, very healthy for you. So this is a plan, is basically to grow this type of sugarcane. I think this is the only type of sugarcane that you are going to be able to grow in the UK successfully outdoors. You have to start them off indoors. If you've tried them outside now, even though it's May, we've still had a couple of frosts here in Manchester, so I wouldn't chance just sowing these wildly outside and expecting them to develop. You start them off indoors, much like you would start off any other vegetable crop. Get them to a decent size. I probably wait until it's June before I pop these outside in a larger pot and in a sheltered area. They don't like to be in soaking wet soil or soaking wet compost, so you have to supply good drainage, and they can get fungus attacks. So sometimes you may see on the stalks itself like a red sort of fleck, like looks like red paint or rust. So you have to keep an eye on that as well. So they're not immune to diseases. But hopefully, by the end of this year, I'll have grown these successfully. It might not get to the height that they would normally get, say, in the hotter countries like, the southern parts of the United States and places like the Sudan, places like India and Bangladesh. So yeah, probably get them to be about 5 feet tall here, whereas they would go to possibly 12 feet in the hotter climates. But yeah, it's a really interesting thing to try and grow. And if you can harvest these at the end of the season, have a go at making your own molasses. You get these lovely seed heads as well. So make sure that you give this a try. It's really, really a really easy thing to grow. It doesn't require a lot of maintenance. You don't need a greenhouse really, because once the temperatures outside, as I say, this is a more cool or cold hardy type of cane, much easier to grow than the tropical sugarcane. So thanks for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe if you wish to see more content like this, and hope to see you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.